Hi friends, let's see the app we are going to develop in the next couple of lessons. When you run this app, this is the main option screen. You will see a menu which is on a table view. So I can click on say employee options, then it will load this data, and all the employee data are loaded dynamically from a data source, right? And then I can click on employee, and then it's dynamically changing this page with that particular employee and the projects. If I go back and click another employee, you can see the same page is dynamically changing with that employee and the projects, which are all loaded dynamically. The images are also loaded dynamically from a data source, right? So it's different images loaded dynamically. And then I can delete employees. Let's say I can swipe and say delete, then it deletes the data, right? If not, I can click on edit and say if I want to delete something, click on this and click delete, right? And when I'm done, I can say done, right? And then further I can insert data dynamically. Let us say a section P and say Peter, for example, and click OK. So it all gets added dynamically, right? Then once I'm done with employees, I can go scroll down, right? And then I can go into department options, right? So department, and do the same thing for department, right? But it's very important that you have to make sure to look at the next couple of lectures in this on table views, that is part 1, 2, 3, etc., until we complete this app. It explains all the theory and the practical knowledge which you need to know about developing this app, right? Okay friends, we are very excited to show you how to develop this app practically, and let's do it now. Okay friends, so the following is the outcome of this part of the lesson. When you complete this part of the lesson, your app will look like this until you complete the other parts of the lesson. It will load a list of employees dynamically, right? And it will allow you to click and dig into detail, and it will populate this screen dynamically, and all the images and the employee data are populated dynamically from a data source. And when you click on another employee, it changes everything dynamically. But after you complete this lesson, make sure to go and look at the next lessons in order to complete the full app demonstrated earlier previous lessons to understand what I did. Right? Awesome, right? So now I have done that part, right? So now I can programmatically load this view controller using this name, storyboard ID, which is this what I gave, which is view controller employee details, right? So for that I have to, when I click on this cells, when I click on the table view, right? I want to load. So the click event. So now I know where the click event is. And one more thing, my friends. So the view controller, this is table view controller, and okay, this is a view controller, but this is a table view controller. So for the table view controller, so I have attached a class. Its name is table view controller hello, because I was doing a hello experiment and we continued that. But I prefer the name to be different. So instead of having the name table view controller, I prefer to call it as table view employee list, because it's displaying a list of employees, right? So this is that class. So I'm going to rename it and say table view controller. Instead of hello, I'm going to call it as list of employees, right? So it's my table view control list of them. Okay, so I change it. Because of that, I prefer to change the name here as well, right? And then the dot, not only the .h file, I want to go and change the .m file also, right? .m file also, I'm putting the same thing, right? And in the .m also, so I'm going to change this, right? And I'm going to change this because I changed the name, and I'm going to change this. Awesome. Now if I run this, you will see with that change, if I run this now, right? Let's see what's happening. Bill succeeded. When you load, you will not see the data in the table. Why is it? That is because now I changed the name, right? Because I changed the name, I have to put that name in the storyboard as well as the attached class for this table view controller. So I have to make sure that I go to the identity inspector, and instead of hello, table view controller hello, I have to make sure that now I have to put the new one, which is table view controller list of employees. And just for the safer side, if I want to use it, I put the same storyboard ID and registration ID as well, right? Awesome. Now if you run, you should anyhow see that, because now I have connected back to the correct class name after the change. Okay, let's see what's happening, right? Awesome friends, it's working, right? Great. What's next now, right? So what is next now is when I click on any of these, instead of showing this UI alert controller, I want to show that view, this view controller, right? So let's do it now, right? So let's go to the employee list and the click event, right? You remember this code comes from the previous project, right? So the click event, right? So make sure to look at the previous project to understand this, right? So the click event is where I see this one, right? Did select provide index path. So what I want to do now is I'm going to comment this, right? Because I don't want to display any of these. Instead of that, I want to load the next view controller, right? So as I said, you have to look at our previous lessons and understand about how to load a view controller programmatically. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get those few lines of code, right? Just that few lines from the previous project, and I'm going to put it here. So to load a view controller, you will use three lines, right? I will explain it to you. Basically, we'll use 3 lines of code, right? That is, you will instantiate the storyboard, and then you will instantiate the view controller, and you will display the view controller. We have done this in our previous lessons. Now in this case, from the first table view controller, I want to go to the second view controller, and my second view controller name is this view controller employee details. That is my second view controller. So from the first view controller, I have to import that, right? If I want to use that class, I have to import that, right? The view controller employee details, right? And then I have to instantiate that, right, over here, right? So if I get some space, I have to instantiate over here like this view controller employee details, right? So, and I have to pass that storyboard ID the same which I have given, right? Which when I created that, right? Which means over here for this view controller, just to show it to you quickly, I have given a storyboard ID. So I have the same I have given. So I'm using that storyboard ID over here, right? Just here. And then you will display that view controller. So this should work, my friends, and let's see whether this works, right? So if I run and on the click event, right, of the table view, it should go to the next view controller, right? Because this is straightforward. So if I click, see, it works. It's loading that second view controller. So every time I click, it's loading. Now it's say also it's showing the same picture and the same person name or the stuff. So I want to, now what I want to do is I want to change this data dynamically, right? So when I click on Gibson, I want to display here in this label as Gibson and Gibson's picture and a description about Gibson and the project Gibson is working. And I went for Anne, it will be different, right? So let's see how you do it differently for those, right? Okay, right? So now couple of things, right? Let's start with the label, right? Let's say when I click on Anne, I want to display Anne here, right? Let's say if I click on Ashley, I want to display Ashley here. So how do you do it, right? So what you have to do is you have to go to the second view controller, right? Which is this, and one way of doing it is you introduce a property, right? So you will say a property. So if you don't know what are properties, please have a look at our previous lessons. So we'll say property, let's say a NS string, right? You give a NS string and you can say, I don't know what, employee name, right? Let's say employee name. And because you are going to receive it from the previous screen, let us put as received employee name so that you know, okay, this is the received employee name, the employee name received from the previous screen. So why am I making it a property? Because properties can be accessed by outside classes. So this property now can be accessed by the other class, right? Awesome, right? So now what you can do is from the previous class, right? Now, because the property is in the view controller employee details, right? I just put this property into view controller employee. So now when you create object of view controller employee details, just before displaying it, you can access that property now. So you can access that property, received employee name. See, you can access it now, right? So you can access that property from here, right? You can access it from here. So the property is in the other screen just here, but you are using it from this screen and before you display it. And what I want to display is the clicked item. So now you know how to get the clicked item because we have already done it. So I'm going to copy that line from here, cut that line, right? I'm going to cut, let's copy it, right? So just copy that line and just put it here. So you know, okay, this is how you get it. So this you get from the, whatever the clicked item from the list box, right? Whatever the clicked item from this list box. So that you got over here, right? And then you can assign it to this property. So now that property will have that value. So then what you have to do here is, in this class, in the viewDidLoad, you can display this in this label over here. Then you have to access this label, right? So to access the label, you have to go to the assistant editor, right? You have to click here and click assistant editor, and then you have to control drag this label, right, into the interface section. So control drag into this section, not to the implementation, to the because it's a property, and then just give a name as LBL employee name. Okay, my friends, LBL employee name. So now you can access it with the with this ID called LBL employee name, right? So then what you do is, in your view controller, now you got that LBL employee name, what I dragged. Now in the viewDidLoad, what you can say is, you can refer to this LBL employee name dot text equals to the value of your property. Now you got, in the same class, you got the property called received employee name. So now you can just say it's equal to the received employee name, and this you will get from the previous screen, right? Let's see whether this is going to work, right? So what should happen now is, when I click on the table view, it will assign whatever the click name into that property, and then it will load that view controller and display that label, right? Awesome. See, it works, my friends, fishers, right? So if I click on and, now it displays and. So if you are not clear of how I did it, look again, go back, listen to what I did, try to understand and do it again. If it's still not clear, again go back and understand, because no point me repeating it now because it's recorded. So even if I'm repeating it, the same thing I have to tell. So go back and again listen to what I did in order to get this done. Now it's working, right, George? Now I want to change the picture, right? Let's say I want to change the picture based on that, and the label, this description as well, right? Okay. Now for that, I need to have these different pictures, right? So I need to have these different pictures. So let's load the pictures first, right? So let's I have the pictures, right? So I have to store the pictures, right? Now what I'm going to do is, in this, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create some instance variables, but this time the instance variables I'm going to create is going to be of type dictionary. That is because a NS dictionary can hold key value pairs. Now, so for that, I'm going to show you the developer doc. So there's NS dictionary class. So it can hold key value pairs. So a dictionary can hold key values. So why am I looking for key values is so that I can say, okay, employee and this is the picture. So the key is the employee name and the value is the picture. Okay, then employee John or whoever it is, the next employee. See, Ashley, then I can say, okay, Ashley, this is the picture. Okay, then if it's Frank, I can say Frank, this is the picture. So because of that, I'm going to copy this, my friends, right? Now you understood the dictionary hold key values, right? So I'm going to copy this, then I'm going to take it to my project and declare it here. But usually what you do is you just put the signature here, right? Like this, right? You just copy this. Hold on, let me say, you just copy this part, right? then what you do is you just have only the signature here, friends, right? Like this. You just declare it, and then you go into the class, right? And in the view did load, you will assign the data into the dictionary, right? Like this, right? You will assign the data. So I just copied it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the names here, and the names I'm going to match to the names of the previous class, right? In the previous class, I got the employee names, right? Say Anne, Ashley. I'm going to get one, I'm going to map them into those names. So this is Anne, right? Because I just want to refer to the same employees. Then I got Ashley, right? Okay, so I got Ashley. So I'm going to put Ashley here, right? And then I got Frank. So I'm going to put Frank here, and I can stop from this, or I can keep on putting more and more, right? So let's put one more, right? Just one more. If I want, I can put a lot. I can just put comma, 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 and put more, right? Up to you. Let's say Fishers, just the top 4, right? Just for testing purpose, right? And as the values, I'm going to give the names of the images, right? As the values, I'm going to give the names of the images, right? So what are the names of the images, right? So people name, so person image 1. So then this one for Anne, I'm going to assign, say, person image 1 dot png, right? Person image 1, right? Then for Ashley, I'm going to assign, say, person image 2, person image 3, person image 2, image 3, and person image 4. Okay guys, right? So now I got a dictionary with key values, and I would like to give a meaningful name for this, right? A meaningful name would be not just dictionary, just to say, okay, dictionary, right? Employee images, right? How about that? Dictionary employee images, right? And then over here, I will say dictionary employee images, right? Awesome. Now what I want to do is, when this view is getting loaded, right? Because I know the incoming employee name, right? Received employee name. I can use this as a key and retrieve the relevant image. So then if the received employee name is Ashley, I can get Ashley's image. If the received employee name is, let's say, Frank, then I can get Frank's image, right? So how do you get that is in the developer docs, it says to access the value, accessing the values using subscript, you can just access the dictionary with the key and get its value, right? So I'm going to use that here. So what I'm going to do is, right, from here, I'm going to access this dictionary of employee images, but I'm going to pass the key as the received employee name, because I'm receiving this from the other screen. So whatever the received employee name, I'm going to get that image of for that corresponding key, right? Now then this is going to be a NS string, right? And it's going to be a employee image, right? Employee image, right?